Where was the theme song?
What?
Came here to say who won it from the jump. Came here to say who won it from the jump. We can't get exactly what you want. Came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, we live, you know. We came here to say that you don't really want it with us. Yeah, the sports show.
I done made that shit my ringtone now. I don't know why. It's like become a staple in my life now.
Because it's fire.
It
Yo,
really
your
is.
hairline is pushed back. You got a big ass forehead.
I do.
God damn.
You was waiting for that one. That was That's what you was doing. Okay, I got you.
Well, we wouldn't start any other way, huh?
Yeah.
Nope, absolutely not. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 139 of the Yerrr Sports Show. I am your host, Big Baby, a.k.a. the soul of R&B. To the bottom left, Mr. Fivehead himself.
Fivehead?
I'm not the five-head. He's the five-head. Bottom left.
Y'all may be too young for this, but y'all remember this cartoon called Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wayne
Yeah.
Head or whatever? Wayne
Head. Wayne Head. That's what I'm talking about.
Wayne Head.
And Pete got the Bobby's World haircut.
Facts.
Yo, Matt, you look like the dude from House Party that was chasing Kid and Play Around.
I'm talking about Class Act.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about, Class Act. I saw the meme with him the other day, too. That's the crazy
You were a
thing.
main character.
Wayne Head.
We have BK Matt. And at the top of the pyramid. Oh, you got your socials on? You put your socials inside it? Okay. We have the Queen Tay.
What's up, y'all?
She outside.
I'm outside, y'all.
That's what's up. Yeah, outside. What's good, Earl?
Nah, you see, nah, fam. Because I went to Baltimore a couple weeks ago, right? And fam, I asked fam for a restaurant reservation or a recommendation, and he dead ghosted me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's up, Mikey?
What's up, Mikey?
Shop business. So you had you wanted a reservation to where though? Like
they come from Maryland. I don't know anything about Maryland other than The Wire. Okay, so
I like this.
Oh man.
Yo.
Anything from Maryland other than The Wire.
That's the only thing I knew about Maryland. And I think Red Lobster was born out there or something like that.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh, that would explain the biscuits.
Chesapeake Bay. I don't know what
that would explain the biscuit part.
You know? And I ended up eating at the goddamn Cracker Barrel.
Why would you do that? That is horrible.
I had no recommendations.
Oh, he said he called you a liar. That's what I got out of that.
So what happened to the recommendations? Like I came on, I graciously watched y'all's podcast that night, and I actively participated in the conversation and was like, "Hey, guy, since you're the Maryland dude, where's the recommendations?" And you're like, "I got you, sis." And you know what? You didn't have me.
Oh,
had her eating Cracker Barrel.
I was like, ew.
Not Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel's the worst. I'm sorry.
Nah, I think Waffle House is worse than Cracker Barrel.
Thank you. Finally, somebody agrees with me.
House. I'll never forget. I was in some random town, and the waffle. Yeah, I swear on everything. I was so hungry. I just got off a plane, and I was like, I had to drive an hour and a half to my hotel, and the Waffle House was like right outside of the hotel. And me and a friend walked in, and it was completely empty. Even there was no staff, and there were dirty dishes and pots and stuff all over the place. I'm like, did I just leave a crime scene?
Not a crime scene.
It's Waffle House. I wouldn't be
surprised.
Honestly, there's all the best fights.
And you know what? I don't like Denny's either.
Huh? I don't either.
I don't like Denny's. Don't like black people.
Denny's is garbage.
Yo, we grew up with knowing that Denny's don't like black people, so it's been a thing where you be like, Denny's.
I'm not gonna hold you. The restaurant that I really used to vibe with, they don't even exist no more. It's Shoney's.
I was producing and being talent. Oh. Okay.
Also, you know a restaurant trying to kick you out if you black if they start bumping the AC too high.
What shit? That'll keep me there. What restaurant you used to vibe with? Now that might be the Spanish, because Spanish people love being outside and when it's really hot.
They hot blooded.
If it's too damn cold, you gonna sit in the restaurant where it's freezing cold?
You motherfucker! Right. I am. I'd rather do that than it's hot.
You know what's the equivalent to what's the name? To Denny's and shit out in Pennsylvania? Dan Perkins.
Never heard of that in my life.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, never been to one.
I ain't eat there.
Matt, what restaurant you say you rock with that don't exist no more?
Shoney's.
Never heard of that. Sorry.
Buff Bagwell and them used to own it.
Who?
Buff Bagwell. I think he used to own it.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I think it's the Georgia thing. Like, I don't know if it really. I don't know. The buffet was rocking. I used to love buffet.
Vaughn out in here.
Huh?
We went to a restaurant with a man who calls himself Buff is the stuff.
I mean, Buff has always been the stuff. I mean, but I'm just saying. I don't think he always owned it. I think
he's always.
I don't know if he always been the stuff.
Yo.
At least
talking about always been the stuff. Did y'all hear about Dwight Howard's DMs? I mean, it hasn't hit him. It hasn't hit.
Are they worse than Zion's DMs?
Yes. Hell yes.
Queen, can you please expand on this? Because I knew nothing about this.
I'm about to change my name to Paul.
Dwight Howard solicited someone off of Instagram to join an orgy with him.
It was a man.
And sexually, basically, the person is accusing him of sexual assault. And he was like,
a man did that.
I don't care if it's a man or a woman, but
I'm giving Pete the gravitas of what's going on. It was a man saying that Dwight Howard sexually harassed him.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Wait, hold on. Let me. So you're telling me, hold on. So I was listening to Tay, and Tay said that he solicited somebody to be in an orgy with him, and now this person saying sexual assault. Are you telling me, Matt, that somebody
he's a man
was a grown ass man?
Grown ass man, dog.
Listen. I don't personally swing that way, but to each their own. Have fun.
But that's the funny part. He said that I'm not gay or nothing, so don't be offended. I'm just a freak like that. Wait a minute. First off, pause. That's just all the way wrong.
Larry, let's not. And we also don't know if that second part is going to happen yet. You might have just shot them in the foot before it happened.
What are you talking about?
The Yankees are in last place, so I think Larry's trying to get at the fact that we let the Yankees be in last place so the Knicks could run this year. And I'm like, we don't know if that's going to happen yet.
Yo,
last year.
Woo, damn.
Because Mitchell Robinson still can't play more than 6 minutes a game. So let's stop.
The hell?
Shout out to Rufus Lala. I sent the gift over to our friends at the Driver to His podcast, but it's not about them. So, Dwight Howard out here being a freak.
Big freak.
Big freak.
Weird freak.
Big freak. But the problem is, it's a difference between being a big freak and being sexually accused of battery.
Right.
So
right.
Be that as it may, I mean, I usually wait until TMZ picks up things before but I don't know if Dwight Howard is a TMZ level celebrity anymore. But
nah,
not in China.
But you know what? You see how people drag it though. The headlines say Dwight Howard's alleged sassy messages to a man. Like, why they gotta throw shots? Like, it's not that.
Dwight's playing in Asia right now, right?
No.
Yeah.
They ain't playing.
Yeah, Dwight was in Asia, right?
He was in Asia.
He was big. He was God over there, bro.
Listen, could it have been a Ladyboy Bangkok situation where he didn't know.
It seemed like it was a regular like.
He literally said, and I read the text message because it left me befuddled.
Of course, you read the text messages.
Of course, I read the text message.
I read the text message
Matt was like, "Send me." Matt called it up. Send me the transcripts immediately.
I'm just doing my job. It's sports related news, and we are reporting it. Thank you.
Queen. You do your job, but when I asked you to send me that other story, you ain't send it to me.
Yeah, you gonna put it on me,
right?
Right. I mean, you brought it to the table.
I'm just saying, it seemed like it was like big in the media for like an hour, and then everybody started talking about it. So I was like, all right, I guess it's not that important. Everybody been talking.
But why does he have to say he not gay?
Because he's gay.
Because you know how it is in the black community. Well, you also know how it is in the black community. Black
First
men.
of all, don't put Dwight Howard in there with us. Don't put Dwight Howard in there with us.
Why we don't want to put Dwight Howard in there with us?
Don't put Dwight Howard in there with us.
Even though even though the LGBTQ plus community has made large strides in acceptance in many different sectors, at the end of the day, in Latin and Black culture, it is still very, very difficult for men to feel accepted. And so,
are we really going to call Dwight Howard a man?
We don't know what
do we want to call him then?
He's a big ass, goofy ass kid. That's what he is. He's a kid.
Listen. That sound like you talking about Zion, but anyway, moving on.
Zion, look.
Mariah Mills is crazy. She's dragging it.
Yeah. She's crazier than a chick from Alabama who may have staged her own kidnapping.
That's what I thought we was going to talk about. I thought we was
what is wrong with everything nowadays?
Maybe she's mad at her man and
so I got a question.
She want attention. Maybe he's not paying her attention. This is the only way.
Question, so do that mean we forgive Jamal from Empire now? Because this was far worse.
Oh shit! I forgot to put butter on my salmon. Hold on.
But I mean, listen,
this is the second time. This is the second time Dwight got caught.
Yeah, we know in the LGBT.
I'm not surprised.
We do know in the Black community, and especially in the Latinx community.
I'm not trying to throw that in there. That's not a black thing. Stop doing that. Stop trying to put that. What is wrong with you?
Let's be real though.
Peter's right though.
Let's be real though. My girl's Caribbean. My girl's Jamaican and Trinidadian. She will tell me all the time, like, if you are a gay man on the islands, you either don't tell a soul or you leave the islands, because it's just not accepted still in many Caribbean and Black cultures. It's just not.
Kick Dwight Howard off.
How much reggae we listened to in the 90s that subliminally would talk about killing gay people? Come on.
Bye, and the Bati boy dead. I know.
You know, like at the end of the day, one, he's an athlete, okay, and we know, I don't care what anybody says. We know that LGBTQ plus is not necessarily still very much accepted in major world sports. Ask Michael Sam, ask Jason Collins, ask all these people that the minute they came out and said, I'm an LGBTQ plus player currently playing, you know, there was this feeling like they didn't really get as many opportunities. Dwight's still trying to play in the league. You know, I
feel like you're trying to push me to be like Larry right now. We're not going to blame the reason why they're out the league because they were gay.
No, we're not blaming the reason why they out the league as to why they're gay. I never once said that. I did say that the minute they openly said, I am a player who identifies as such, let's not act like all of a sudden opportunities that they may have had didn't all of a sudden seem to just evaporate in front of them. I mean, at the end of the day, we have seen, quarterbacks who can't throw a ball more than 5 yards continue to get contracts to play for teams, but a guy who plays a position of need, Michael Sam, a guy who plays a position of need, could not get a job on a team after he came out and openly said, I am a gay man playing football. Right? Dwight Howard was still trying to get a job. And you know damn well Dwight Howard will take a contract in the league if it comes to him. And at the end of the day, Dwight Howard doesn't want, one, as an athlete, two, as a Black man, he doesn't probably want to admit, even if he is, and if he is, whatever he does in his private life, in his bedroom, in his damn business. But at the end of the day, It's all about the optics of it.
You're muted. You're muted, Tay.
Not when you're out there battering people.
I'm just saying. Dwight looked like he likes to get his ass eaten. I'm just saying. I'm not shocked that this came out. I'm not shocked.
Matt. See, no, this week said a different question. How do you know that he looks
in
like?
In the words of my girlfriend, Matt, you're doing too much.
That's a different question.
Dwight Howard carries himself like he
looked like he into some freaky shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just say that. You Matt being real specific.
You know what, Pete? I get what you're saying.
50 Shades of Grey is freaky shit. Looking like you a type of man like getting your ass eaten by other men. That's on a whole nother level of freaky.
Are we really talking about like?
It's not freaky. I mean, if you're gay, like that.
Tell you what.
That's not freaky. Like,
really
right, but he's also saying he's not gay, right? He's coming out publicly saying he's not gay.
I mean,
so if you're not gay, but you like getting your ass eaten by other men, that's a little freaky.
You know what?
He said, "Boy got a big dick." That's all I'm saying. He said it it's in the transcript.
But the problem is, right? I don't think that this has anything to do with Dwight's inability to get a contract. Let me just be real.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I understand the Michael Sam argument, definitely. But Dwight Howard, I feel like he should just settled out of court, bro. Because I think it's gonna be I think this is going to be an avalanche.
Yeah, he's gonna settle it out of court, all right.
It's already.
He's gonna settle it out of court. He's gonna take it straight.
Everything about it is out except for him.
Yep. I like what you did there.
Oh man!
Woo!
Y'all see why I don't write certain stuff down? It's gonna come up anyway.
Boy,
LeBron just looking at him. LeBron over here. No, but LeBron probably heard this story. It's like, hold up, so you get pounded out there, but you couldn't get pounded in the post when we needed you in the playoffs.
I mean, maybe if he would have
been not the pounding he wanted.
Maybe
I gotta relax though.
Maybe if he would have been more open, maybe if he would have been more open about it, maybe he would not have had to hide who he is, and probably it would have improved his performance. I mean, outside the bedroom.
Maybe if he acted like Dennis Rodman, he'd been all right. And people left him alone. And I'm not implementing anything about Dennis Rodman. He lives his life how he lives.
Leaking the text messages is nasty business, though.
Absolutely.
Saying I want to see your dick is nasty business.
I think it's nasty business to out somebody like that. I was never a fan. I mean, granted, if he's like out there sexually assaulting people, that's a whole different thing. I've never been into outing people.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dwight's been out there for a minute now.
Well, not according to him. According to him, he's not gay. It's like freaky shit, and that's okay.
The way Pete just explained it, I think Siri need to play Pound Town.
For Dwight.
Yeah.
All I know is that when we need DMs, Matt's the guy. Because Matt had Deshaun Watson's DMs. Yep. He got Dwight Howard's DMs. He had everybody DMs.
He's drooling and saying, "Let me see your dick." This is bad. Like it's no.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Read it.
You act like there's not people, like you act like we don't know people in our everyday life that out here telling people in the DMs, I want to see X, Y, and Z.
I want to see your penis. No, I don't know. Well,
but you know what? But hold on. To be fair, at least he asked to see it and then just unsolicitedly show it.
I mean, there's images there that was loved and liked.
That's probably the number one problem in the DMs. Unsolicited.
I'm not sure what was loved and liked though, but there's something he loves some images. It's right here too.
Okay, maybe he liked what he saw and he sent it.
Also, Tay, question, because you're the only woman on the show.
Sure.
Why is it that all these men that are always outed for their unsolicited dick pics in the DM. Right? Why is it always the worst dudes? Why is it always the ones that make everybody else look bad?
That like getting their ass ate, right? I know it's a mystery to me too. I don't get it.
Let me tell you something. I'll never forget.
I don't like how you keep saying like I know.
We always know. We always know when you're about to send us an unsolicited pic, right? I always know when it's about to happen. It'll be like, hey, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? I really want to show you something. What?
Damn.
I feel like
And
this
then-
is about to go left.
I'm like, if I like you a little bit, I'm like, look, please don't do this because right now you are about to ruin your shot.
And I just want to say this to men. Listen,
Listen, I'm giving you a warning.
I'm giving you a warning.
Yo,
I'm really
and gentlemen out
Or
here in
they'll
the
say you
world.
want to see something, and you know when you know it's about to be small too. Where like,
That's
you
what
wanna
I keep saying. Like
wanna-
gentlemen out here.
Do you
in the
want to
DM.
see something naughty? And it's
Why are
like,
we here? Why are we here?
Gentlemen,
Damn you,
gentlemen
Dwight
that
Howard.
are
Why are we
No,
here?
no. Don't ask why we here because you brought up Dwight Howard.
I just said the man like get his ass ate.
He's-
How do
You
we
brought up
get
Dwight Howard.
Xavier
Here's the
getting
Here's the thing.
dick pictures?
It's always
this,
these
This is
dudes.
as far away from sports content as
It's always these
ever.
dudes
At this point.
it's always these
spend
dudes.
Dwight
every
Howard.
day of their life waking up and can't see what's in between their legs when they wake up in the morning. You can't do it. And then you sending it in the DM. Like, listen, I ain't never, and I'm sure it's happened. But I ain't never not seen a woman go on social media and complain about an unsolicited dick pic, and it's the unicorn dick. It's a mythical, whatever. It's something. It's never that. It's always something like this. It's always a tic tac in the goddamn DMs.
Pete,
I just don't like how you and Matt have been just completely talking about dick this whole time.
Because here's my thing. If you gonna send the
Keep talking
DP
about
in the DM, if you gonna send the DP in the DMs, at least let it be a DP that she goes.
What type of DP you talking about? You talking about? Y'all gotta chill. My dad listens to the show, okay?
Well, apparently Dwight wanted.
I know for anybody who knows me and who watches Yellowstone knows that I'm very much Beth Dutton, but
Apparently it wasn't. Dwight didn't want the DP. Dwight wanted the Subway triple play.
no, but that's what went down. They had a whole DP that went
He
down.
wanted the Subway triple play. That's what he wanted.
139
Tell you
episodes.
something. Don't be this person. Don't be that person that be like, okay, I'm down for whatever, and I want to do this, and I'm come to your house, and I start getting all hot and heavy with you and stuff like that, and I know you got money, and then when shit don't go the way I want it to go, then I sue you. That's
That
what's
part.
happening right now. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Maybe.
Yeah, because at least Dwight acts nicely at the beginning, so you can't say he can't say he forced you
No,
to
probably
send
happened.
you
The
anything.
thing is, like, I feel. Let me not, because I don't
I'm
victim.
surprised Dwight got any money left. I thought he left all his money on it.
Dwight got money.
Yeah, Dwight
got
not.
money. He
I
went
don't
to
know.
China.
You don't know how many people he done DP'd into silence.
Woo!
Yeah.
Lord, Jesus. Fix it,
All right.
fix it. God
I
damn
mean,
you, Dwight
DPs are more common than you think.
Can we just stop talking about DPs? Why
And he
it
is a black man in
139
Asia right now,
episodes
so that's a whole
and people
fetish
always
community
talking
in and
about
of
dick
itself.
pictures? Why?
You brought up Dwight in the
I
first
said
place.
him getting his ass ate. I said nothing about no dick pictures. I don't know where did we go from there?
Matt, do you know what DP means?
Yes.
We're not doing
Yeah,
this.
that's
We're not doing this.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what they did in the DMs.
This is the wrong conversation to come in 100.
This episode has to be titled "It went down in the DM." It went down in the DM.
They're getting
Man.
so big.
Right. They grown, bro. Oh man.
I want to say
Almost,
yours. so y'all can
listen,
go.
Matt, by the next year they're gonna be bigger than you.
Fact.
Almost.
Look at her nodding. She nodded.
They already are. They're Matt sitting on a booster seat right now. So
Something like it.
Oh my God, they got so big.
I love it, Matt. I love Matt though every day. Like Matt out here being a good dad, doing his best Nate Robinson impression.
Facts.
well, Nate got like how many?
I'm one of Dwight Howard.
I mean,
Dwight Howard ain't getting
Dwight
kids in
Howard
the DM.
Wasn't the White Howard just in the news for like trying to force his son into being a man? Like this
Oh
party
yeah, working out or something like that.
yeah. Dwight Howard is a weird guy. He's just a weird guy. And speaking of other weird people, let's talk about Tavia's favorite ex-player, Paul Pierce.
Tay face changed in a heartbeat.
Tay face changed quick. Let's talk about Paul Pierce. Matt, you are the all-knowing of all information. What?
Matt got the DMs.
Matt got the DMs. Recently Paul Pierce has said some outlandish shit, and he just always comes off as a hater. The first thing he said, Dame Lillard, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo wouldn't make it out the first round in the East. All right. His reasoning, Miami doesn't have the pieces. At this current moment, no, Miami does not have the pieces, but you know how Miami fills out their roster. Not worried about that. Matt, I'm confused on the second thing he said as well. What was the other thing he said?
Hold on. The first one was the Dame Lillard thing. What was the fucking second one? Fuck. Paul Pierce has been saying a whole lot of fuckery. I don't know what's going on with him. Oh my God. What was the fucking second? Oh, he said something about KD and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. They won't make it out the first round. He said that. I don't agree with that either. What else did he say? It was something else that was fucking damn it. I'm like, he's fucking stupid. I'm not. It's not saying that he's. I feel like I'm Tavia now. I'm just putting down Paul Pierce, but Unc is tripping. Something wrong with him. He out here telling people. Yeah, Paul Pierce. He out here. He tripping, telling people about the $40 special. You gotta relax. Can't be telling people about the $40 special, huh?
He might have put Dwight Howard on.
Nah, Dwight Howard don't need no more $40 specials. He out here getting the 2-for-1 sale on some ling sauce, and he don't need that type of work. You gotta stop.
I guess you got the receipts on that too, huh, man?
I mean, it's not what he said about the Heat is not completely outlandish, and here's why. Because if you look at the proposed deal at what it would take for what Portland is looking for to get trade Dame to Miami. You're going to get rid of Tyler Hero, who right now is your starting point guard. You're going to get rid of, Duncan Robinson. Okay, you're going to get rid of probably another player off your bench and a lot of draft picks, which means your starting point guard is going to be, Dame, right? So, or he's going to go to your 2, and you're going to have Richardson or Kyle Lowry as your starting point guard. You still got Butler. You got Caleb, and then you got Caleb Martin. Kevin Love's your starting power forward right now. So, right now there's a lot of holes, and they don't really have a bench. They didn't have a bench this year, and their best bench players both left the Heat, this year. So I can understand where he's coming from the situation of if the proposed trades that we've seen for Portland to get rid of Lillard actually happen, Miami would deplete its roster so much that Dame's going to have to play a crap load of minutes and a crap load of games. A lot is going to be left on Jimmy Butler. Caleb Martin is going to have to take a big step forward, and so is Bam. And there's really nobody on the bench to really help these guys out. Kyle Lowry's 50 years old in NBA years. Okay, so there's a lot there. I can understand what he says about Miami, but what he says about Phoenix, it would take a lot for Phoenix to not be able to get out of the first round with the team that they've assembled right now. Granted, they still don't have a bench in Phoenix, but they
just took one of our best players off the net. Oh my God.
I mean, they don't have a wide bench.
I'm surprised y'all still got best players on this net.
They're not going to go. The Suns are not going to go. 8-9 deep, and that's the problem. Right, the Suns are not going to have a bench that allows them to go 8-9 deep. They're probably going to be a 7-man rotation team, and maybe 8 if they add somebody else. And that, I think, is going to be Phoenix's biggest problem is how do you keep these guys playing at a high level all season and then also be able to reach that next level in the playoffs, knowing Durant's injury history, knowing Bradley Beal's injury history, all this stuff. Those are the things you got to worry about. But I think, the same thing we said about the Nets when they had their big 3, and the same thing we say about a lot of teams when they have that big 3 or big 4 is they're going to be able to outshoot and outscore most teams on most nights.
Oh, and just for the record, I just remember what the stupid shit Paul Pierce said. He said Joker's not a great passer.
He said Joker. He said Joker is not a top 5 passer all time.
But he did say he's not a great passer too.
Yeah, all time. No, he's not a top 5 passer all time. We've got 70 plus years of NBA history. I don't think Joker's going to be in the top 5, but I think he's damn well near one of the top 5 passing centers of all time. If you want to go that far, yeah. If you include point guards and all these other guards and stuff like that, I guarantee you we could come up with guys who are better passers than Joker that never even got to play in the NBA. But at the end of the day,
I don't think I can name a big man that's a better passer than Joker.
Sabonis.
No, I think he's better than Sabonis. He averaged more assists than Sabonis.
No, not DeMontis. I'm talking about Judas.
I know who you're talking about. He averaged.
Judas was also like 45 by the time he got to the NBA.
Right.
I hear you, but that's what I'm saying. But Joker, I feel like Joker's a better passer than he is. If we're going to go down, granted, top 5 passes of all time.
I mean, Kevin Love was a great passer.
Yeah.
Marcus Paul was a great
outlet. He's a great outlet
passer.
Yeah.
But as far as setting people up and like back to the basket, setting up other players and getting the ball to where it needs to get to, I don't know too many big men that can do what he do.
Both Gasols. I'd put both Gasols up there, Powell and Mark.
I wouldn't put them above Joker though.
No, probably not above Joker.
They are great passers. I do like.
Oddly enough, I think one of the best passing big men wasn't even a great NBA player. Boris Diaw was fantastic as a passer. Really? And Boris Diaw did a lot of it. Oddly enough, another guy that didn't really get a lot of playing time, wasn't really a huge star. Spencer Hawes was a great passer. Played primarily for Philadelphia.
Fucking hated him.
And a lot of the guys back in the day, also were good passers. I mean, Hakeem was a great passer out of the post. Dream was a great passer. Duncan was a really good passer as well.
Who else? I can.
But also, a lot of the game back then was outside in, so you were going to the inside and finishing inside. It's a lot different nowadays because the game's played on the outside. So you do need big men to pass a lot better. Al Horford is probably one of the best passing big men in the league right now, alongside Joker.
So, Queen, how do you feel about what Paul Pierce said? I know, I know he just be saying stuff, but realistically, about what he said with the Heat.
I mean, that's not a fair assessment. I said, yes, they gave away a lot of they're going to be giving away a lot of pieces for this Dame trade. But the thing is, there's something to be said about the Heat's ability to make a lot out of nothing and almost nothing. And Jimmy Butler needs help. And I feel like Dame Lillard is a great help for Jimmy Butler. And I feel like if you have Dame Lillard on that team, they'll automatically get better. And I do think they make it out the first round.
32 points a game.
This Heat team took some of y'all favorite teams to the brink. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but guys who are at Wegmans with nobody.
I don't know where. So I think Paul Pierce is talking out his ass.
Always.
And to move the goalpost about what's his name? Joker, right? Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he's not gonna be one of the best passers of all time because he's not a freaking point guard or a shooting guard. He's a big man. But could he be one of the best passing big men of all time? Yeah, you're right. He can be.
Yeah, it was damn near a triple-double.
So come on, please.
I don't know too many centers that average more assists than him.
Did he average a triple-double his whole career?
I don't know.
All right, so he should shut up then.
$40 specials is getting the best of them.
Man, you and these $40 specials, bro. I know times is rough, Matt, but stop speaking about your life on this show.
What? That's not me. That's wrong. Don't do that.
Stop. We never talk about that either. That's not the show for that. Yeah.
My bad,
Pete, you have a very interesting name today. Dan Snyder, who was basically out here about to snitch on the whole NFL, and it actually turned on him, now has to pretty much sell everything. What's the story on that?
Well, it was approved today. Two stories about Dan Snyder happening today. First off, the Washington Commanders no longer belong to Dan Snyder. Today, during a special session, NFL owners unanimously approved the sale of the Commanders from Dan Snyder to a group led by investor Josh Harris. That group also includes Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson will be a partial owner of the Washington Commanders moving forward. So Dan Snyder no longer the owner of the Washington Commanders. They did sell for $6.05 billion. Almost $6.05 billion, and that is the highest amount for any North American sports franchise so far. He's been the sole owner of the Commanders since 1999, him and his family, and it has been rocky since then. The second story about Dan Snyder is, by the way, we're kicking you out of the NFL, but here, let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, as Dan Snyder was fined $60 million by the NFL after the investigation report was released, after the official sale of the Commanders was approved. This was a review, an independent investigation that was led by former U.S. Attorney and SEC Chair Mary Jo White, looking into harassment allegations by a former Commanders employee, as well as claims of financial misconduct. And the report came out and said that it substantiated that Dan Snyder, while owner of the Commanders, did sexually harass Tiffany Johnson, a former Commanders employee, as well as underwent deliberate underreporting, and that is a direct quote from the investigation report, underwent deliberate underreporting of income under visiting team share rules, which require teams to donate 40% of total ticket sales to a league-wide fund. So it's basically profit sharing. You get a certain amount of ticket sales, 40% of that goes into this pool, and Dan Snyder went into allowed for deliberate underreporting of that. I believe it said here, $11 million in Commanders revenue had been improperly shielded from NFL revenue sharing rules. And while the report could neither confirm or deny that he was directly involved in the shielding of the money, they were able to conclude that he was aware and supportive of the club's efforts to minimize its revenue sharing obligations, which violated NFL sharing rules, as well as an additional variety of transactions and accounting entries that raised further questions about whether the Commanders had also shielded other revenue for the league. So tell your team, oh, by the way, you owe us $60 million on the way out. And listen, if I'm Dan Snyder, I'm worried about IRS. I'm worried about the SEC. I'm worried about further financial problems that could come up, because if you're improperly reporting the income that your team is making so that you can get around the money you have to give in revenue sharing, I can only imagine how that reflects when you have to report income from your business to the SEC or to the IRS. And things like that. Because if you're hiding it in one place, you got to hide it somewhere else to make all the paperwork add up.
Matt, your thoughts on this?
I'm not gonna hold you. I wasn't even listening because my baby tooth just came out. I'm not like I'm being.
When your baby teeth finally came out, I'm so proud of you, Matt.
I'm like the tooth fairy. They teeth always come out around when they're with me for some reason. I don't get it.
Oh, congratulations to her! But that's amazing. Which tooth was it? The front tooth?
Yeah.
When my daughter's front tooth came out, I gave her $100.
Hey,
don't put that out.
Matt, you were saying earlier how
when
much
my daughter's front tooth came out, I gave her $100.
Oh, look at that!
Hey, okay.
Fairy gotta come and give you money, baby.
Right.
Matt, you were saying Matt earlier, how much is Dan Snyder worth?
Yeah.
What was it, $9 billion?
$4 billion, I believe.
$4 billion. Tay, you've worked in the business world. You've worked around people that have large net worths for a long time in your life. I was telling this to Matt earlier. Your net worth and how much you have in liquid is usually completely different.
Yes.
So he may be worth $4 billion. The man may not have $60 million liquid to pay back the NFL. $60 million is a lot of money. I don't care how much you're worth.
You for sure don't have 60 million.
What is this gift that everybody keep talking about? What are they talking about?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not. It's not for this show.
Well,
the question: does that mean they get to change that stupid ass name now? Because the Commanders,
well, they can change the team name, but I think that also requires an NFL process to go through. Because remember, you got to also worry about merchandise on hand. So, like for example,
Right.
they're like with LeBron. LeBron just changed his number back to 23. He's not going to wear 6 anymore in honor of Bill Russell. He's going to go back to 23. So now usually the NFL, the NBA would require a certain amount of time because they need to be able to account for whatever's still out there and make new ones as well. So it's the same thing with the NFL and the name change. But I will say this, I don't know if Washington's going to be trash. I think they may be the worst team in their division, but I think that's also not really saying much because Washington has the ability to overachieve. Ron Rivera has always gotten the most out of his teams, and I think getting rid of the distraction that is Dan Snyder, that is everything that ownership group has not allowed, you would think that if there's one thing I could say, ownership groups that include Magic Johnson have usually shown that they're willing to do what needs to be done to make the team better and more competitive.
look at the Dodgers.
And, right now with them coming in, I guarantee you this is going to be an ownership group that wants to get the most out of the Commanders. They also know exactly what division they're in. You're in there with Philly. You're in there with the Giants. Why am I forgetting the 4th team in that division?
Cowgirls.
There we go. The Cowgirls, right? So they're going to come in and do something. There's not much they can do right now because most of the league stuff's already done. But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Washington kind of overperforms this year as a way of just like, this is what we're really capable of. And then I'd be very, very interested in what they do next offseason, to how this ownership team starts to change the team to meet what it wants to do moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Queen, your thoughts on this whole situation?
I just gave my thoughts.
You did give your thoughts. Sorry, you definitely did. You definitely did. I had to spin the block real quick just to make sure.
Just to add on again, I agree with Pete. This is going to be an unfolding situation. This is not just as simple as him getting kicked out the NFL and having to give up the team. I think it's going to devolve into way more, finding out what happened to this money, what happened to this fund, what happened to this and that.
Right. All right, Matt, any final words? I know you got to step off.
The Giants are a bunch of hoes for what y'all are doing to Saquon Barkley. And that's all I'm saying. Sad.
Wow.
Yep. Y'all paid
that
quarterback and then
you guys paid, and you guys are paying Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Way better than Daniel Jones.
Hey, well, at least we know Daniel Jones gonna be here.
Yeah, he's gonna be there. But what's he gonna do without Saquon Barkley?
The same thing. What's
He didn't play with him for quite a few weeks. I mean,
and then did nothing. Nothing.
They won a couple games without Saquon. I
They
don't
need Saquon Barkley. What y'all did with some
and they went far without Sterling
know it.
Shepard too.
Right.
I did some whole shit that was not even right. I feel like they gave the wrong person the money. They should have franchise tagged freaking Daniel Jones and fucking gave Saquon Barkley that money.
That I agree with.
But it's fucked up what they're doing to running backs in the league. It's like we were just talking about Dwight Howard, right? And like certain athletes get stigma with certain things so that they get pushed out of the league. I feel like there's a stigma that there's a life capacity on running backs, just like there's a life capacity on big men in the NBA. So that's why a lot of the good big men that we are used to seeing are getting pushed out of the league. Like even Joel Embiid, he's going to get pushed to obscurity real soon, being that he's not winning. So, I mean, it's just, like I said, right now we're talking about Saquon Barkley. I feel like it's fucked up what they're doing to him, just like it's fucked up what they're doing to Tony Pollard. But then again, he got injured, so he has to bounce back from that leg injury. So I kind of get it, but I don't get it. It's like Christian McCaffrey happening all over again. But it is what it is. I'll holler at you guys. Love you guys. I'm out.
Love you too. Bye.
Love you too, buddy.
Bye.
I do agree with what you said, Tay. As well as what Matt said, they should have franchise tagged Jones, because Jones has a higher chance of wanting to stay than now Saquon does. Like, you could have got away with that with Daniel Jones. But I'm thinking that my thought process with that, I'm thinking that the Giants are like, well, you were injured half the time you've been here.
That is true.
And, you know, like just like Zeke, who in Dallas, who was injured half the time he got there, he could easily get released. But and that's the thing too. If Saquon for whatever reason decides, he's thinking about sitting out, there are running backs on the market. The Giants can go pick up Ezekiel Elliott. Though I do not agree with it, it's still a back that they would be able to use. But that doesn't solve the issue in paying Saquon. Pay this man his money.
Yeah, pay him his money.
Pay him his money. pay him his damn money. What else we have? So I know we probably all sick and tired, just like the people in Philadelphia, but this damn process, bro. Joel Embiid and the damn process. Apparently he told his team in Philadelphia that he just wants to win a championship, whether it's in Philly or not. Do you think that he has the right to say something like that?
No, I don't think so. I feel like he has underperformed. He has also played up to his worth on teams that just were not meant for him. I think that the Philadelphia 76ers, they had a lot of freaking expectations, especially over the past 3-4 years. People were talking championship level team. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they have serially underperformed. Hold on, I gotta get back on the screen because Pete want to be motherfucking Keith Sweat. My girlfriend. Like, the fuck? Of course, she had to leave during the podcast, and it's awkward just to have one person on the screen talking to two guys.
Right. I appreciate you.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm back. She just left. Yeah, she just left.
Oh.
Yeah.
You was crying?
I wasn't crying. She was.
Aw.
She's coming back.
She is.
How long she's gone?
5 days.
Good.
I told her enjoy herself. She's going out for a quinceañera, so they're leaving a day early.
Quinceañera? She's not Mexican.
No, her
only
best,
for Mexican.
No, it's her best friend's family, but she's very close with her best friend's family. So they invited her to the quinceañera. So her and her best friend are flying out to Houston. They're getting there a day early. Then they're doing the weekend there, and then they're coming back. I think it's Monday night or Tuesday. They're coming back.
You're gonna say she's crying and your glasses look all fogged.
That's because I'm high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
She was glad to get out the mechanic shop with all the parts in the house.
those are all her Christmas gifts.
No, when I tell you, listen, this apartment is basically all packed up. I mean, I really like my living room looks really empty compared to what it's been the last 2 years. I basically just have the kitchen, the bathroom, and the furniture and whatever we're living with right now that left to be packed. But yeah, this part, it's really weird. Like, I just took shelving off this back wall because this whole thing had shelves on. I just took all those down, took all the the screws out the wall, and I'm like, yo, this whole living room looks mad different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be here for another month, but it's just like I'm already a month away from moving, and I was like, holy shit.
Like I said to you before, congratulations. You know, you've been working on this. Y'all two definitely, definitely deserve each other, and I know y'all look forward to having a brand new life. Now,
oh yeah, especially one where the bills are cheaper. Can't go wrong there.
True.
When you're moving up in apartment size, but your rent number is moving down, it's just like, what is life?
Right.
What is life right now?
Beautiful. Before I switch the question to you, shout out to Randy of Backstage Brawl.
What's good, Randy?
Philly's problem isn't Embiid, and he's given the Sixers years worth of performance, and now he's the MVP. But he's worthy of saying that when his co-stars stay selling in the playoffs, basically. They definitely choked this year in Boston, and he got to play a season where he's not nicked up, and it's always something with his health, which is true. To piggyback off of that, that's the reason why, in my opinion, you kind of say, well, for your first whole last 2 years in the league, you weren't playing. and you were part of the reason why we are where we are now. So, like, what's the deal?
I mean, when we look at what they've done, I mean, 2012, this is 10 years now. Like, this is 10, almost 11 years that we're still talking about things with the process, right? And we forget it started with Michael Carter Williams being drafted to replace Drew Holiday, right? And then you get Embiid in 2014, right? You go and you're trying to do some other things with that, and then you go and you get some other players that don't. You get Jahlil Okafor, who isn't even in the league anymore, right? You go ahead and you get Fultz, who is finally redeveloping his game out in Orlando, right? So there's been so much going on here, and you finally had, and Randy's right. Embiid's not the problem. Embiid has given them the best that they've gotten out of the process. Embiid's the only thing, besides maybe Tobias Harris, but Embiid's the only thing that has been productive about the process in Philly. And you have a man who is an MVP caliber player. And the problem in Philly is that they are not surrounding him. And screw James Harden. I'm sorry. They're not surrounding him with a quality enough team to make deep runs. And this is the problem, because they are putting the brunt of the emphasis on Embiid. And he's doing his job. But one man does not win you a championship. Joker couldn't do it alone in Denver. He needed players around him. And we're not talking about outside of maybe one other guy on that team. It's not really stars. Aaron Gordon, former high-round draft pick, thought he was going to be a star. This man is a complementary piece on a team. Michael Porter Jr. is never going to be the star everybody thought he was going to be coming out of the draft. But he is a complementary piece that is able to give you what you need on a given night to be enough to take the load off of your star players. And they don't have that in Philly. They don't, right? If you saw the same thing in 2001. They did not have a team around Iverson. The best player that Iverson had on his team was a 10,000-year-old Dikembe Mutombo. Right? And he took them all the way, but couldn't get over the hump at the end. And I don't blame him. The fact that he willed that team to the NBA Finals on the strength of his incredible play, and Dikembe Mutombo holding up for another playoff run at 10,000 years old. I mean, it's ridiculous. Imagine if you had a player of AI's caliber. Imagine if Embiid was paired with a player of AI's caliber on that Philly team. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with gas. The problem with Philly is they've got the stove. They've got the recipe. They know what they want to make. But they don't got the pots and pans, and nobody paid the gas bill to have any flame to put it all together. And that's the biggest problem in Philly right now. You got the ingredients. You know what you want to make. You got the tools to get there, but you're not putting it together and you're not putting gas on this. And if Embiid leaves and goes to a team and wins a title, Philly will never live that down. Philly will never live that down.
Philly shouldn't have ran off Ben Simmons. That's one. Philly shouldn't have chose Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. Philly, the whole Marcus Fultz thing, I can't blame them at the time. You know, like you invested a certain draft pick and it didn't look like he would get to where they needed him to be at, whatever. But a lot of this is just on Philadelphia itself. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to do something fast because you're running out of prime years of Joel Embiid. And if Joel Embiid could turn into a solid piece on a championship team for somebody else, as you said, Philly's going to regret it. Because nobody's going to go to Philadelphia after Joel Embiid leaves. Nobody.
Yeah, and they had the last 2 years was probably the best teams that they had. I'm not counting last year. But you had Tobias Harris starting from 2019, right? You ended up getting you had Al Horford come on that team, right? You had Al Horford come down. You got a coach that, regardless of what his playoff record is, has led teams to the playoffs, right? You had players like Seth Curry, right, on that team, you know, and you were not able to put it all together for a long time. And now you're only getting worse because now your players want to leave. You know, Simmons was a bust. I mean, I'm sorry. Simmons was a bust. You know, Simmons was a bust. Fultz was a bust. But again, you also have to start to wonder at what point do they start. Like, we could point the finger at Markelle Fultz. We could point the finger at Ben Simmons. We could point the finger at Jahlil Okafor. And there was one other center that they got as well.
Nerlens
Noel. We could point the finger at all of them. We can. But you all know the old saying. For every finger you're pointing in one direction, it's 4 pointing the other way. So at what point does Philly have to start pointing at itself and saying, we've had multiple number one draft picks, and either we didn't know how to develop them and have the right player development team in-house, or we don't know how to fucking draft because we drafted busts with multiple number one or top 5 picks. Because, like, at the point where you've had five of them and only one has been a productive player, there's a problem there. Because everybody thought Noel was going to be a top 5 player. People thought Jahlil Okafor was going to be a game changer. People thought Ben Simmons was going to be a game changer. Oh, he's 6'7", playing point guard. Reminds you of the way that Magic used to move. He could pass with the best of them. One of the best pure passes I ever seen. He's only 18 years old, right? People thought Fultz was going to be good. All 4 of them have been busts. And Embiid was this close. Embiid was this close to being a bust. And
but
turned it
around. He's an amazing player. I don't want to take it away from him. He's an amazing player, and I feel like the team itself has not performed up to expectations. And I think it begs to differ. Either he stays there and continues to wait for the team to rebuild, or he goes somewhere else and hedges his bets. It will be a shame if he can't compete for a championship either. But then we get into this whole thing: are we chasing glory or chasing rings?
Yeah, it's the Dame Lillard conversation.
But I think Tay, you know how it is now, especially now with these generations. I mean, we grew up in generations where there are multiple Hall of Fame players that never sniffed a championship. And at the end of the day, nowadays, unfortunately, the generations of sports fans now rank you based on how well you do championship-wise. Right. And so to them, I mean, if Embiid never wins a title, Embiid could have all the MVPs and everything. If you don't win a title, people are going to look down on Embiid's career people like you and I, people like Dre, people who have been around this game and other sports for a long time are going to understand that you can be a Hall of Fame great player, never win a championship. But a lot of these younger fans aren't. And the thing is, remember, he's only signed until the 25-26 season. So he's got 3 more seasons, and then he's got a player option in year 4. And then if he opts in, he's got he's an unrestricted free agent the following year in 2027. So 26-27 is the big 25-26 is the big year because that's his last year fully under contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. So as we start getting closer to that, his contract's going to look a lot better and easier to trade. Granted, his base salary is ridiculous. He's making $47 million, almost 47.6 million this year, jumps up to 51.5 next year, 55 the year after that. But let's be honest.
Yeah, that money not going to matter in a little bit, though.
He has a player option when he's 32. So he's still going to have some productive years to give another team.
Randy said this, and we're going to move on after this to the final topic. But he says Nick Nurse is a good coach, better than Doc Rivers. They do need to make a trade, and soon. If they snag Paul George, it can help. Plus, give Maxey the keys. Yep. Also said Ben Simmons ain't a bust. He has this year right now. This year, he has to show something.
Who? Simmons?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I disagree with Randy. I think Ben Simmons is a bust.
I think this year he has to show something. Folks got it together. Okafor was lazy. We know these things, but the Sixers have to do something, or they're going to lose Joel Embiid. Point blank, simple. And the way this is a players' league now. If Joel wants to leave, they will grant him to leave. I don't know who that is from Cedar Hill, Texas, but shout out to you for watching. Whoever pops up on Facebook, please just put your name inside the comment because we can't see all the comments.
The free agent class that he's going to be in, he's going to come out. And if he doesn't opt in, I should say, and he becomes a free agent in 26, 27, he's after the big class. So the class right before him, the 2025-26 free agents, De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Bam, Giannis, all of them. That's the year before he opts out, if he opts out. So it's if we're looking at 2027, free agents in the NBA, he might be in a class all to himself.
You know what team really wants to opt out of this current season?
Oh, Jokic might be a free agent then. If
the team that we were just speaking about last episode that were 8 games over 500 in the MLB, and now are just atrocious, last in the AL East. We are talking about the beloved New York Yankees. First of all, people keep getting injured. That's one. Second, again, they do not have any utility players, and they did not make any moves to get them any utility players. So they have all power hitters that don't know how to hit the ball to the ground, and they're getting smoked. And their pitching is garbage. Their defense is just as bad. What are the Yankees doing? Jay, what's going on? Hey. You muted, Queen. You muted.
If you knew I was muted, why would you call on me?
I know you was muted. I'm just, trying to get a few words in. Because Pete gonna carry this.
But like you said, they didn't make any suitable replacements. Knowing that a lot of their key players have gone down to injury. We knew that this season was going to be a roller coaster once Judge went out. Did I think they were going to be so abysmal at this point? No, I didn't. I thought that they would stay maybe close to 500, still in the conversations. But me being that stubborn Yankee fan, I'm always thinking that they're at 500 and then they're doing terribly. So, but that being said, this year is basically a bust for them at this point.
Pete?
I mean, we are above 500 right now. We are still we are last in the division. Don't get me wrong. We are last in the division. But we are still above 500. Every team in the division is above 500. We are 3 games above 500, 50 and 47. We are nowhere near the worst team in the American League just yet. That still belongs to Oakland and Kansas City. We are at least 20-something games better than they are. Funny enough, the Yankees, with their record, would be first in the NL Central, and we'd be third. The AL Central, and we'd be third in the AL West. We'd be third in the AL West. We'd be in the middle of the pack of the National League East. We'd be in the third in the National League Central, and we would be, close to the bottom in the National League West. So, the East has been an incredibly hard division when we say it like that. So, there's that. And I said this a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about this. If I told you at the beginning of the year that Carlos Rodon would have missed the first 3.5 months of the season, Frankie Montas still has not pitched. Luis Severino was going to be on the injured list for at least a month and a half and still be finding himself. We would lose our best reliever in the bullpen, relief pitcher. That Aaron Judge was going to go down, that Harrison Bader was going to be on and off the injured list, that Josh Donaldson would be hitting under 200, that DJ LeMahieu would be hitting 100 points below his regular average. Okay,
was
that
he hitting like one something?
I think Josh Donaldson is, yeah.
Yeah, Josh Donaldson's hitting like one something.
When you're looking at that, right? If I were to tell you all of that before the beginning of the year right now, that our best batting average of our starters is Gleyber Torres at 263. If I were to tell you that leading the team right now in home runs, not named Aaron Judge, was Gleyber Torres with 14 and the rookie shortstop Anthony Volpe with 13. Right? If I told you these things at the beginning of the season, okay, that we were going to be leaning on guys like Willie Calhoun and Billy McKinney, okay, and guys like that, there were guys who, Nestor Cortez is on the 60-day DL. Jonathan Loizica still has not thrown a pitch this season, right? If I told you all those things at the beginning of the season, you would not think that the Yankees would have been in third place in the division going into the All-Star break. You would not think we were going to be above 500 right now on July 20th. None of that. And all of that is true. Everything that I just said is true. We fired our hitting coach for the first time in season in like the last 15 plus years. And yet we are 3 games above 500. We may be last in our own division, but if the season were to end right now, we would, if I'm not mistaken, let me see here, division winner. We would not make the wild card, but we still would have we're still in the fight. Okay, if I'm looking at it right now, the wild card standings, we are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in the wild card standings. Only a game behind the Red Sox. Tampa Bay and Toronto right now are the top 2 teams. Right now, it looks like 3 teams in the AL in the AL East, okay, are going to make the playoffs. If the season ended right now, the Baltimore Orioles would win the division. Tampa Bay and Toronto would get 2 of the wild card spots as well.
So
are we underperforming? Yes. Are we a shit team? Yes. They did not do really anything to make this team better from last year to this year besides locking up Aaron Judge for 10 years. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of young help. They need a lot of hitting help. They need to get back to the basics of hitting. And I get it that baseball is no longer a station-to-station game, but there is something to be said about solid across-the-field hitting. And we need to really start building that offense. There are players in our farm system that are going to be good, that if they translate on the major league level, could change the entire complexity of this team. I think Volpe's going to be great. He's not going to be Jeter. No one will ever be Jeter, but he's going to be great. I am a Yankee fan who grew up during the age where you get a lot of spoiled Yankee fans, but I also understand that it's probably better for us just to say, you know what? Let's just start rebuilding. I don't think we should start selling things unless we have to, but I do think that at this point, this is not a trade the farm for sure. I would love Shohei Ohtani, don't get me wrong, but this is not a trade the farm for Shohei Ohtani and get him this year and hope we make the playoffs. At this point, it's let's reassess this entire team, top to bottom. Let's start figuring out now in mid-July, what do we need to make this team a competitive team for years to come. You have Garrett Cole. You have good pieces in Nestor Cortez. Hopefully Frankie Montas is actually something after he comes out of this surgery. You know, we may have some pieces on the offense. How do we make this team better? And how do we build it? Because that's what made the Yankees so great in the 90s and the 2000s. They found out where the deficiencies were. They filled the holes and they kept the core together. And that was the key. And we haven't done that. We have not done that for a while.
There's no real core. I think that's what the problem is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's Judge and Anthony Volpe. Those are the two pieces on the offensive side.
That's not enough for a core.
Right. You have players in the minors that I think come up. You got the Martian right now playing in Double-A. You've got players who can make up a future core led by an Aaron Judge. The problem is they need to get players around. Same thing we said about Embiid in Philly. We need to get players to start to surround this team that are actually going to be good.
I think a lot of the times with the Yankees, because the Yankees is, if we're talking about large market teams, they are the biggest of the large market teams, and they have the biggest wallet. That's not working for them anymore. You can't just, you can't just bring in people and just give them the bag and make them a core. The Yankees have to build a core now. And if they don't, the Yankees will be in this pit for a long time. And at the end of the day, Cashman ass need to be lit on fire at this point. Because something has to be done. This is not the Yankees that we've known, and this is not like us sounding like older people. This is the Yankees have 27 championships. You expect the Yankees to be in the race every single year. It hasn't been like that. It has to go back to that. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that is the Yerrr Sports Show. Shout outs to BK Matt, shout outs to the Queen, shout outs to the voice of Generation Pete Rosado, shout out to you guys, shout out to myself. A lot of good things going on with all of us. The summer, it's been hot.
I'm over it. I'm over this summer.
I'm done. I'm
over it. I've never been a summer person, honestly, not since I've grown up.
Mm-hmm.
And since summer doesn't mean the same thing for me because I'm always working. But
summer for you is crazy.
No, but before we sign off, I just want to say rest in peace forever to my cousin Bashar, also known as Pop Smoke. Today would have been his 24th birthday. So happy birthday in heaven. Let's go.
Yeah. Amen. Happy birthday in heaven, Pop Smoke. So, once again, for the voice of a generation, Pete Rosado, for BK Matt, for the Queen Tay, it is your boy, Big Baby, signing off. Peace.